just haven't been able to compete. The carny, the clowns, and the human cannonballs all seem to come from south of the border. But there's hope. Just for once, our sophisticated American neighbors are getting lured into the tent to see a Canadian circus, a one-man show. It could be Johnny Canuck's revenge. Superman will look like a sissy. Here comes the human fly. These are just your common garden variety flying fools. This was some people's idea of fun then, but these days, dancing with death is serious business. Death is supposed to win now and then, or at least seem to have a fair chance, and that means teaching new planes old tricks.
When he's in that suit, he is the human fly, and he feels like the human fly, and he knows that he's the #1 man in the world.
It's only been under 10 months, and the amount of exposure and ink that we've received on this, it's been incredible.
I would relate to the human fly as a property, a piece of material, unfortunately, that has to be sold.
Fly's the limit.
The human fly made his debut on top of this DC-8 jet at a California air show last June. After surviving the 230-mile-per-hour ride, he claimed to be the greatest daredevil who ever lived. But the human fly is more than that. He's the core of a 5-year marketing plan which is supposed to have him crossing the English Channel, clinging to the side of a rocket, and then diving from the top of Toronto's CN Tower into 20 feet of water. It's all great promise for the fly's promoter.
My name's David Levine. I'm with Human Fly Spectaculars.
The mouth behind the myth is Montreal ad man David Levine, and his job is simple: make the human fly a legend in lunacy, a profitable legend.
We, as a promotional company, are going to try and make him the greatest daredevil that ever lived, and I think that with his first stunt, we're well on our way.
In another age, Levine would have been a circus barker, pulling the gawkers into the tent. But today there's no need to holler when you've got press releases, promo pictures, television, and T-shirts.
Can be touched up, can't it?
Oh, yeah.
And bring up the human fly logo?
Yeah.
On the surface, there may not be much in common between a factory making pepperoni and death-defying acts. But here in Montreal, it all comes together at Roma Foods. Roma is a family business now in the hands of the Ramachiri brothers, Joseph and Dominic. It's a good business, but sausage making lacks a certain glamour, excitement. It was a taste for that which brought Levine together with Roma business manager Frank Perry and the two brothers who are in this venture led by Joe Ramachiri. They raised $200,000, mainly from pepperoni profits, to form Human Fly Spectaculars Limited. Now, they know that there's no money in the stunts themselves. They are only lost leaders for the legend.
It's through the media and through all kinds of stunts and activities that we're involved with, just build up that character so it becomes a property value. Just as a hockey star does just by playing hockey, well, this fellow is doing it by doing stunts.
And to what end? Where does it go?
Well, merchandising, endorsations, broadcast rights. Here's a good example. Comic book series.
Just a week after the fly's first ride over the Mojave Desert, Levine was in New York setting up the payoff in superstar souvenirs. The butchers back in Montreal dream of books, toys, TV shows. They'd probably even endorse a fly swatter. But T-shirts are a start.
7 Up.
Well, that's nice creative, eh?
Mountain Dew, draft beer.
Beautiful stuff. I love it. It's cute. Now, as far as the human fly is concerned, he wants to donate 50% of his own personal revenues that he gets out of this project to this charity, UNICEF. Now, what we would like in return is the endorsation from UNICEF. In our posters, perhaps, that we're producing, we would like to include the UNICEF logo, perhaps on T-shirts, the human fly logo.
Nothing's to prevent him from sitting down and writing a check to UNICEF, for which we'll be grateful and send him a charming letter. When you say endorse, what does that mean? You begin to get into trouble if you say to use the UNICEF symbol on a T-shirt.
Scratch UNICEF, but how about a soft drink company? It's off to Dallas.
But we need somebody to get in bed with us at this point in time now. And I think that we could give you a heck of a lot for your money. There's a human fly signature on this. It's reduced down to an 8x10 transfer. The wings run across the front of the chest, and it will say the human fly. That's it. Now, what our proposal to you is the T-shirts that are being sold at the concession level could carry Dr. Pepper. We're still looking for additional exposure, and we feel that we can contribute to your show at the same time.
And so Levine spent most of the summer in New York trying to flog the fly. The media was the key. Newspapers, radio, and television all have an insatiable appetite for friendly freaks. And for Levine, it's all precious advertising, free.
Good morning, everyone. We're talking to, gonna talk, I hope.
In a quick blitz of New York, Levine got the fly on 5 TV shows and had 3 radio interviews.
20 miles an hour, but we're talking to David Levine, who is the public relations man for the human fly. Dave, good morning. How are you today?
Hi, Steve. Fine. How are you?
Dave, let me crank you up just a little bit because you're coming in a little bit low.
Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you today?
Very good. Yourself?
Now, do I just call you the human fly because obviously you don't want your name mentioned or anything like that?
That is correct.
Human fly, where will you be doing your next... Do you call them stunts or what?
Well, I prefer to call them feats because stunts are stunts. I mean, anybody can fall off a building, but there's not too many people that can fly on the outside of DC-8.
It's developing a certain rapport with the media, getting their support. It's just like any politician. He makes it with the media. Oh, sure, he has paid for advertising, but the media can make you or they can break you.
In December, Levine brought the fly to Toronto, and after a few phone calls, the fly was a new star on late-night television.
The human fly is a man who makes his living, among other things, riding on the backs of DC-8s when they're going about 250 miles per hour.
See, I'm more nervous doing this than I am doing my stuff, you know?
This is, I think, the first real live human being around whom a comic strip and some other enterprises are being fashioned. He's a Montreal-born man who is now about to become, he hopes, the world's most famous stuntman, daredevil, whatever. Figure it out when he gets here. Will you welcome, please, from Montreal, the human fly and his manager, David Levine.
Television offers Levine and the Montreal Butchers the very best publicity for the fly, and as far as the media are concerned, it may not be new, but it certainly is different. So, step right up, folks.
He is actually being referred to as the bionic man with a charitable heart.
Levine claims that 60% of the fly's body was remolded from steel after it was crushed in a tragic car crash 5 years ago. Through the long ordeal, Levine says, the fly vowed to commit his spared life and the bulk of his earnings to helping sick children.
What are you in here for?
How much money is in it now, Dave?
We're up at $125,000, and we expect the return to start very shortly with the breaking of the comic book series. This is Human Fly Spectaculars Montreal. This is a company.
Are you giving 50% of their profits to...
Well, we have to divide it out. There's the company that's in it as a financial investment, and then there's the Human Fly. He has his motives, and the company, of course, has theirs. And
so the answer to my question is no. Right?
Right.
How much has he given so far?
So far, he has given less than $1,000 because the company told him not to give any money because we haven't broke even yet.
As for the mask, Levine says the fly wants to deny himself any personal fame because of his singular dedication to the children. However, the owners admit it was they who insisted on the anonymity so they could always put another stuntman inside the costume for another trick. Also, the Fly, who'd been a printer and racing driver in Montreal, is simply on salary. If he had an identity and any personal following, he might demand a bigger share of the take.